Gladiator is one of the greatest movies ever made. I don't really have a definitive top 10 list of favorite films, but if I did, Gladiator would definitely be high up on there. The action is amazing, the story is great, the dialogue, the acting, the directing, the sound, everything is just pure perfection. One character that I really want to touch on is Commodus, played brilliantly by Joaquin Phoenix. He's so creepy and evil and dastardly. You just despise everything about this guy. Like, I don't think Commodus had a single redeemable trait. Maybe he did, I just can't think of any. What I really want to touch on is the relationship between Commodus and his father, Marcus Aurelius. You see, Commodus always felt like he was never good enough. He had so much hatred inside of him, probably because he never got any kind words of encouragement or acceptance or guidance from his father. Eventually, when he had enough, he just lashed out and murdered his father in cold blood. And he was so jealous of Maximus, the son that Marcus Aurelius wished he had, that he tried to have him and his family murdered as well. Commodus could never control his emotions, probably because he was never taught at a young age how to control his emotions. He had the temperament of a child. He never grew up. That could be from multiple different factors, but the only factor that I could go off of now was his father, the emperor, the philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. Now, Marcus Aurelius is a great individual. Don't get me wrong. The real-life Marcus Aurelius is one of the few people that I actually study and look up to. But I do think that in this film, in this fictionalized version of Marcus Aurelius, a lot of the shortcomings, at least some of the shortcomings of Commodus, do stem from his father and how his father raised him. I mean, Marcus Aurelius literally says in the film that his son's shortcomings are his failures as a father. Now, we don't really have much to go off of when it comes to Commodus' childhood and how he grew up and whatnot. You know, the film doesn't really share much about that. But what I do know is that Commodus didn't mature and develop properly. You see, children mature and develop and take after the ones who guide him. And Commodus clearly didn't have any of the same traits that his father did, which means his father didn't, properly instill his traits upon his son. And that could be due to maybe he was an absent father, maybe he neglected Commodus in favor of a sister, who he did say would have been incredible if she were a man. Or maybe Marcus did teach Commodus, and Commodus just ignored his father's teachings. Who's to say exactly why Commodus is the way he is? We just don't know. The way I choose to look at this, though, is from a cautionary perspective. Our children are the future. We have to guide them. We have to nurture them. We have to teach them. Even though they're our offspring, they're not just going to innately have all the same character traits that we possess. And children always learn based off what's around them. So we can either be there to guide them and control what we teach them, or we can be absent and just let them learn from their surroundings. And that's when people become products of their environments, which is not always a bad thing, don't get me wrong. When we don't give enough attention to teaching and guiding our children properly, we can't control what they learn, so we can't control how they turn out. But if we have an idea of how we want them turning out, we can guide them and teach them the proper lessons so they can reach the level that we want them to reach. Commodus also came from royalty. He most likely had everything handed to him. He probably was never taught the value of hard work and discipline, something that Marcus Aurelius knew greatly about. One more thing that I also want to touch on is that Commodus never got any real acceptance. While as a father, we do have to be stern and tough on our kids at times so they can grow up to be tough and disciplined, we also have to be kind and caring and compassionate as well. And this is more often than not where the mother comes into play. I'm not exactly sure what happened to Commodus' mother. If it is mentioned in the film, I don't recall. But I do know that Marcus Aurelius was not proud of his son. He wanted Maximus as a son. He also wished that Lucilla was his son instead of his daughter, or that Commodus had either Lucilla's or Maximus' traits. Basically, Marcus Aurelius was unhappy with Commodus as his son, and wished he had a different son, or wished his son was different. And Commodus knew that. And when you feel like you're not good enough, that eats away at you, just like it ate away at Commodus. And eventually, when you constantly feel like you're not good enough, you start to despise the people that make you feel that way. And that's exactly what happened with Commodus. His father made him feel like he wasn't good enough, and eventually Commodus started to hate his father for making him feel that way, and started to hate Maximus for the jealousy he felt towards him. That's why you shouldn't really be bothered too much by people's expectations of you. Live your life. Enjoy your life. Living under the weight of people's expectations is a very, very heavy burden. And once we can't take the weight of that burden anymore, we just snap, just like Commodus did. It'll leave you in a very unhealthy place mentally, and that's never good. But anyways, that's about all I gotta say on that topic for now. Peace.